Good morning, 2021. Good morning and bravest welcome. I hope that this new day and that this new year finds you well. Good morning and welcome to the seekers of the Spirit, to the wanderers and to the worshipers. Welcome one and all. Welcome to the light and to the heavy-hearted ones among us. Welcome to the open and to the broken-hearted ones among us. Welcome to every blissfully imperfect soul who is just like me, blessed and beloved beneath the lucky stars of heaven, given in care and deep compassion for one another, given, as we all are, with and forever for one another in grace, in good times and in tempest, in conflict and in consensus, held, whole, and honored by a love that knows no bounds. Let's jump in souls first into this brand new year. Oh my God, what a year it's been. What a powerful thing to see and to love the sunrise in these last few brand new days. Let's fully turn away from what has been so hard for us as we turn towards the light and towards the warmth that is on the way. Let's jump into the frozen waters, shall we? Not literally, but let's crack the ice of life and make a hole and dip our feet, souls first, and souls first, into these freezing waters, figuratively and spiritually speaking, of course. For the darkest days are over on this trip around the sun. Let us pray that this means all that we need it to mean on this good day. Today is Sunday, January the 3rd in 2021, and the title of this morning's reflection is Insight is 2021. Ever since the science of fission gave us the words that were of use, we have been saying that hindsight is 2020. To have 2020 vision is not exceptional. To have 2020 vision is to have average vision. Insight can be much clearer than this. This morning, I'd like to begin by sharing a poem, 16 years old. It is a poem that I wrote at the first light of the sun, and it's called The Warming of the Air. I dedicated this poem at 5:15 a.m. on the morning of May the 20th in 2005, and its first words were these. The pond in New North Country is misty orange at the sunrise. Children dip their feet, souls first, for good continued health. They sat today for hours until the night air grew much warmer, and a flight of geese returned with their great sonic sense of wealth, landing in a V formation, squawking richly. The geese returned, but the raptors are gone now. They come and go in shifts. The geese are cool and everything, but the raptors know the warming of the air. Raptors are the teachers of the deeper things than fire, things I need to bend my mind to know. Speaking in a gentleness unmade by strong desire, yes, the grass is always greener, but it's just as hard to mow. Raptors rise above the things that matter not at all. And I see you up there, beloved, holding up the sky. These were the first two verses. I will return to them in the reflection. But right now, let's settle in and let's sing our way into this brand new year. Please rise in body, rise in spirit, and join in the singing of this morning's opening hymn, Ring Out Wild Bells. Good morning, everyone, and happiest new year. It is good, so very good to be together.
My name is Laura Foley, and I'm speaking to you today from a hilltop in Pomfret, Vermont. And here we are in the early part of a new year. I wanted to share with you a poem which really asks us to notice what is beautiful around us. Can we find the exotic even in our own backyard, even in our own night sky? The poem is called Our Own Orion. No need to travel to Iceland for northern lights, to cruise rough seas for glimpses of a different sky. We just crack the door and peer over banks of thigh-deep snow to taste our own frosted slice of night. No need for red and green streaks or solar flares or even a lunar eclipse. Just our own Orion with his hunter's bow, bright stars in a moonless time, whose greater darkness further defines his more distant place in endless space and time. And when the day arrives, the way snow prisms light.
In what ways will we all look back at 2020? In some ways, it's been such a terribly difficult and challenging year. How will we look back on 2020? It's hard to say, and I offer no suggestion or advice, except to say that let us look back upon this year in a way that serves us well, with a cautious optimism moving forward and moving on. In the opening hymn this morning, we sang, "Ring out, wild bells," to the wild, wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty night. The year is dying in the night. Ring out, wild bells, and let it die. And these words carry force of closure, and they carry the force of finality. But we also sang, "Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right. Ring in the common love of good." These words bear the hope of remembrance and ongoing care. Both of these are real, and both of these are right. In part, I want to gather up all of my things and pack the car up tight. And I want to drive away from 2020, staring down the rear view mirror until I don't see 2020 anymore. There's a song written by a friend of mine. She writes, "I'm as packed as I can handle, and I can barely close the door, so I'm staring down the rear view until I can't see you anymore." Sometimes I want to treat 2020 in this way. Because 2020 has left its impression on me. It has wrinkled me. I'm wrinkled from it. I'm broken by it in ways that I can't yet name. It would be satisfying to say that I am leaving it all behind and toss my stole over my shoulder and make some dramatic exit. But the world is not really like that. We're satisfied by that kind of a gesture. Time is precious and life is good, even in times of great difficulty. In good times and in tempest, life is good. In the midst of the greatest challenges, I have to return to this. It is the best way that I know to make things better. Truly, life is messy. It does not always behave. In fact, life rarely behaves. Life is not that tidy, and its beauties and its sorrows so often intertwine. They linger on, they overlap, they intrude upon one another. The all that is our life stays with us, its past and its future, and we live in the vital tension in between these two. Life is that brave station that hovers always in between where we have been and where we think that we are going. In the craziest of ways, these two things are interconnected, the past and the future. They're connected by fragile bridges of the heart. We are as connected to one another by hope and by remembrance as we are by closure and finality. This is what we see when we look out through the eyes of the soul. Our task, our job, our challenge right now is to be able to hold on to that hopeful part of 2020, that part that has taught us to be courageous and fierce and quiet and strong and resolved and resilient. And close off the parts that no longer serve us as we move forward into a cautiously optimistic brand new year. These bridges of the heart that connect us in powerful ways are all around us, and we see them when we're ready for them. Now, I didn't see one recently, but I was reminded of one that I saw a long time ago, 16 years ago, at the time that I wrote the poem. I saw a fragile bridge of connection at 5:15 a.m. It was 16 years ago on the 20th of May, back in 2005. It was a while ago now. That was the morning after my dog, Loppy, died. I had 2 dogs back then. I was still living in North Carolina, 10 miles north of Durham, and teaching at Duke University. I had Samori Marksman Dunkley, the best dog ever, my beautiful and perfect yellow Labrador retriever, Samori, or Sams as I called her. She was 5 back then, but we had been together since she was only 7 weeks old. Here's a picture of us on our first day together. A few years later, I adopted another dog named Loppy. Loppy belonged to a friend of mine who also had a newborn child. So things were easier this way. It was easier if Loppy came to live with me. And Loppy and Samori got along famously. They loved each other. Here is a picture of the 2 of them together. Loppy was considerably older than Samori. Samori, at 5 years old, was full of life and full of strength, full of power. She was very, very strong. Loppy didn't have the strength that she had back in the day. She was nearing the end of her life, and she knew it. But they would still play a tug of war with a bone or a stick on occasion. And Samori would start to pull really hard and realize that Loppy wasn't up to it. And Loppy would kind of growl, and Samori would relent. It was very cute. Samori would lay down and let Loppy win. It was beautiful. Loppy died on a Thursday afternoon. She died on March 19th of 2005. And Sams and I got up at the break of day the following morning, and both of us were totally exhausted. We turned away from the hayfield that opened up to the north of the house, and we headed southeast across the lawn and then across the driveway there. And we walked out into this wide open meadow as the sun was beginning to rise. You could see the glow behind the silver pocket of the clouds on the horizon, but you couldn't see the sun itself just yet. The details of the world were in the process of filling themselves in to our eyes, and then I saw them all at once. The turkey vultures, uniformly perched atop of 5 fence posts that stood between me and Samori and Noah's pond. They were all sitting at attention, as if in the driver's seat of life, but with no hand on the wheel, driving forward with confidence. They were at attention, as if they had rock star front row seats to the first live concert of life itself. They noticed me and Samori, but they were not concerned with us. They kept their hawk eyes on the prize of the sunrise in the morning, and they watched the miracle, the first one that our dear Loppy got to paint all by herself. That sunrise cast an orange glow across Noah's pond, and it was quite beautiful. That's where the inspiration of the poem came from. The pond in New North Country is misty orange at the sunrise. Children dip their feet soles first for good continued health. They sat today for hours until the dark air grew much warmer, and a flight of geese returned with their great sonic sense of wealth. They were landing in a V formation, squawking richly. The geese returned, but the raptors are gone now. They come and go in shifts. The geese are cool and everything, but the raptors know the warming of the air. Raptors are the teachers of the deeper things than fire, things I need to bend my mind to know. Speaking in a gentleness unmade by strong desire, yes, the grass is always greener, but it's just as hard to mow. Raptors rise above what matters not at all. I see you there, my beloved, holding up the sky. You, like them, follow the slow curve of morning on clear, brave days like these, when the sun, out of silver pocket, rakes a comfortable burn across the waking of the world. Graceful plumes of smoke, lighter than air and to my eye invisible, drafting up like cool steam from this child-dipped splash of water, rising to catch her under wing. Now, I learned back then that raptors see more clearly than I do. They can look and see the air itself. They see it rise and they see it fall. And they are drawn to heat plumes, and within them they circle round and round and round. They may look like they're just circling, but they're actually working the rising column of the air in order to achieve a greater height. It's like a natural elevator. I continue to be amazed by that idea. Raptors just seem to soar, but for them there is some degree of work. They are well-suited and keen-eyed, with vision 8 times sharper than our own, they say. What is it to see the rising? To see the very warming of the air. Air that winds like Kansas upside-down tornadoes to the sky. And to place yourself accordingly for the bird's eye view. An excellence of real estate just floating where few dare, singing location, location, like somewhere over the rainbow. Now, I cannot see the waves of wind in the ways that raptors can. I can only see its impact on the trees and on the leaves of grass. I can only see the fletch across this tiny bit of sea, across this pond in New North Country, misty orange at the sunrise, where children dip their feet, souls first, for good continued health. If I could make a toast to this brave and brand new year, it would be that we should sit upon the edges of our lives, looking forward over one shoulder and back over the other, and recognize the miracle that is all of life happening here and now. My toast, my prayer would be that we might find a way to discern, to develop the insight to see what is magical and meaningful from 2020. The most difficult year in many of our lives, perhaps for all of us. But what have we learned and how have we grown? We might not see this yet, but the gifts of 2020, that bygone year that is no more. The gifts will unfold slowly as we move forward in time, as we move forward into the cautious optimism of 2021. Now, optometry has given us language enough to say that hindsight is 2020. 2020 vision, to have 2020 vision is not exceptional. 2020 vision is actually average vision. So to say that hindsight is 2020 is not spectacular, because I think that we can see far more clearly than this. If hindsight is 2020, then insight may be 2021. As we move forward into this year, how can we look with deeper eyes? With eyes of the body, to be sure, but also with eyes of the soul. To see what is new for us, to see what is possible, to see what healing looks like, to see what laughter and joy look like, to open the new gift of every day in the morning. If hindsight is 2020, as we are staring down this last year in the rearview mirror, as we are leaving the terrible, challenging things behind, then insight is 2021. For we know what to take with us, the gifts of intuitive understanding, of inner seeing, of our heart's vision, our wisdom, our keen-eyed, soul-wise way of looking at the world anew. May this new year be every blessing that we need. Let's jump in with both feet. May it be so. Blessed be. And amen.
I raise my eyes and set my sail. In the eye of the storm I will prevail. Now my spirit knows it's homeward bound, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Now when I was a child I thought that happiness could just be bought, but now I stand on higher ground, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away, and this old world will still turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. Now this life isn't fair, it seems. It's filled with tears and broken dreams. Now I think I've got that turned around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. When they lay me down someday, my soul will rise and fly away, and this old world will still turn around, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. I listen to the rising wind, I trim my sail and look within. Now I've been mostly lost, but sometimes found, and I'll be at peace when they lay me down. I'll be at peace when they lay me